Hello everyone. Today we are discussing about the question paper asked in GPAT 2010. In the previous video we have discussed about the questions from 1 to 80 that is asked in GPAT 2010. We are discussing the question papers in very elaborative way. We are discussing each and every options in detail with their theory also. So myself, Dr. Mukesh Kumawat, I am discussing with you in detail. So let us start with question number 81. 81 question that is here. It is inorganic compounds. Fluorescence seldomly results from absorption of UV radiations. Wavelength lower than means we have to find out that wavelength, UV wavelength, up to which any organic compound can show the fluorescence. So that is the point, the fluorescence that can be shown, that we have to find out. So option A is 350 nanometer, option B is 200 nanometer, option C is 300 nanometer, option D is 250 nanometer. So the correct answer for this is option A. Option A, there is up to the 350 nanometer, any compound up to 350 nanometer, any organic compound can show fluorescence. So before discussing this, that is the important thing, that wavelength 350 nanometer, any compound can show the fluorescence in the UV spectroscopy or UV I can say chamber. But what is the meaning of the fluorescence? Fluorescence means any compound that have ability to shows a fluorescence, a reflecting light when any light passes on put on the particular compound. So different colored fluorescence we can obtain. So in the color vision, I can say color in case of fluorescence that is shows into the UV length range, and this UV range that can be up to the 350 nanometer, but more than 350 or 400 nanometer, then the fluorescence will not be shown by the organic compound. So the wavelength should be lower than 350 nanometer to showing the fluorescence or colored fluorescence under the UV radiations in the UV chamber. So that is the important questions from the UV spectroscopy. Next, question 82. Glass transition temperature is detected through. So the glass transition temperature, what do you mean the glass transition temperature? Transition temperature means glass when heated, then at what we can say technique we can use for determining the transition temperature. Option A is X-ray diffractometry, option B is the solution colorimetry, option D is differential scanning colorimetry, and option D is the thermogravimetry analysis. So as you know that X-ray diffractometry is totally depends on the diffractometry or diffractions technique only. So this is not the any temperature based. Option B is solution colorimetry. So colorimetry depends on the color solutions. So this is not again it's not would be the correct option for the temperature dependent. So two option is depends on the color temperature dependent. One is the thermogravimetry analysis, and is the DSC. So in the thermogravimetry analysis, what happen that we can say we can determine any substance upon heating of the temperature or the thermal gravity, we can say gravimetrically. So the thermometrically, you can say glass transition temperature cannot be determined. Okay, so only the last one is there. The correct option for this is the option C, that is differential scanning calorimetry, that can be used for glass transition temperature. So I hope you might be understood in detail about question number 82. So the correct option for question number 82 is the C option, DSC, differential scanning calorimetry, can be used for detection of glass transition temperature. Next we are moving to question number 83. In the 83, what is the question? In the gas liquid chromatography, some of the samples need to be derivatized in order to increase their, means what do you want the questions? In the gas liquid chromatography, that the sample we are using, so sample are derivatized, so on the basis of, by increasing, option A is the volatility, so according to increasing the volatility, option B is increasing according to increasing the solubility, option C is the thermal conductivity, or option D is the polarizability. So in this chromatography, we know understood the chromatography is depends on the affinity of the molecules towards stationary phase. So in the gas liquid chromatography, liquid is stationary phase and gas is a mobile phase. So what happen, any substance that is run on the stationary phase, liquid phase, and gas would be as a mobile phase, you can say we are using here. So the samples, they are derivatized into the gas liquid chromatography, that is only and only to be based on their polarizability. So the correct option for this option would be the D, the polarizability. So polarizability would be the correct option for option number 83, that in liquid chromatography, the samples, they are derivatized in order to their polarizability. Now we are discussing, we move next question, that is question number 84. Question 84 is oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation involves, so what do you mean by the oxidative phosphorylation? Oxidative phosphorylation means, that is phosphorylation takes place in the oxidation chain reaction. So means phosphorylation like ADP, conversion of ADP into the ATP, formation of ATP, because first one ADP when joined with the one molecule of phosphate will convert into the ATP, sorry. So this is the phosphorylations. Adenosine diphosphate may convert into adenosine triphosphate by gaining a phosphate molecule. So this phenomena takes place in presence of oxygen, or is called say oxidation. So the oxidative phosphorylation, that is known as, so it is involved, where it takes place. Option A is electron transport system, option B is substrate level phosphorylation, option C is catalyzed by succinic thiokinase in TCA cycle, tricyclic acid cycle, TCA cycle, Krebs cycle, and D is the none. So as we know, so this oxidative phosphorylation only takes place into the respiratory chain reaction. In the respiratory chain reaction, what happen? That involvement of oxygen over there and conversion of on the cytochrome, what happen? This conversion of ADP, that is convert into the ATP, and this is called as the oxidative phosphorylation. And this oxidative phosphorylation, that is takes place into the mitochondria, and this is called as electron transport system. The option would be first A for oxidative phosphorylation, there is electron transport system. I think it is clear to you all, because other is the substrate level phosphorylation. So not will be an option substrate level phosphorylation. We cannot say this is the substrate level phosphorylation. And option only, this is can say option A would be the correct option for the oxidative phosphorylation. There is electron transport system that is involved in mitochondria for the conversion of ADP into the ATP, and that is the correct option. Next, move to question number 85. 85 question is Coulter counter. Coulter counter, this is Coulter counter is used in determination of. So you might be, this is in pharmaceutics, you understood. I think you can remember the Coulter counter is used for determination of which one. Option is A is the particle surface area, B is the particle size, and C is the particle volume. So as you know, the particle surface area, particle size, and particle volume, these all they can be determined by Coulter count method. So the correct option for this is the option D would be the correct option. The question number 85, the Coulter counter method can be used for determination of particle surface area, particle volume, and particle size. Okay. Next, question number 86. Drug following one compartment open model pharmacokinetic eliminates. So in the one compartment open model pharmacokinetic drug that can be eliminated, option is by exponential, option B is the tri-exponential, option C is the non-exponential, and option D is the mono-exponential. So the open chain, one compartment open chain model pharmacokinetics, that is relate with the 1 it means mono. So option would be the mono-exponential. Option D would be the correct option for this mono-exponential model. Means one compartment, one model, one open model of pharmacokinetic is eliminate the mono-exponential. So it is clear for 86. Now we are moving for 87. Question 87 is the temperature condition for storage of the drug product under cold temperature is given as. So what do you mean? Means we have to find out, as per the IP, we have to tell about the temperature condition for storage for cold temperature. It's very important. Cold, COLD, cold. So as we know, room temperature, as per the IP, you can say the temperature that can be dependent on the room temperature. As you know, the room temperature is 25 degrees centigrade, 25 degrees centigrade, and another is cool temperature, that is 8 to 25 degrees centigrade, and next is cold is 2 to 8 degrees centigrade, and another is the freezing is 0 to 5, you can say below 0 or up to 0 degree, that is. So the correct option for this would be the option D. For the cold condition, you can say option would be the D, that option D can be say that when the room temperature is below at 2 to 8, you can say in between 2 to 8, then the storage condition would be known as cold temperature. Okay, so option A, we cannot say temperature between 8 to 25, that is for cool condition. Temperature below 2 degrees centigrade, okay, so that is for freezing, or 0 degrees, below 0 degrees centigrade, and temperature 0, that is as a freezing time 0 degrees temperature. So for the cold, correct answer would be the D, temperature between the 2 to 8. Now we are moving the next question number 88. What is the question 88? 88 is many xenobiotics are oxidized by cytochrome P450 in order to, option A is increasing their biological activity, option B is increasing their deposition in lipophilic compartments of the body, option C is increasing their aqueous solubility, and option D is the all of the above. So before discussing these questions, first we have to know about what is the xenobiotics. So xenobiotics, as you can say, antibiotics that is synthesized by our body, in our body, you can say. We are not taking outside. Xenobiotics are the same like the antibiotics, but why they are called xenobiotics? Because xenobiotics, they are synthesized by our body for their own, you can say, antibiotic action. Okay, and they are oxidized by cytochrome 450. Cytochrome 450, as we have discussed previously, that oxidative phosphorylation in the previous question, oxidative phosphorylation, that is takes place in mitochondria, in which what happen, that ADP is converted into ATP in the cytochrome 450. So that is the cytochrome 450, and it's a xenobiotics. So it's telling that this oxidation of xenobiotics in the cytochrome 450 can be increased by either increasing their biological activity. Yes, what happen? Xenobiotics, when increase the biological activity, when the metabolism will take place, then biological activity will be the highest. Then increasing the deposition in the lipophilic compartment of molecules. Yes, because the xenobiotics, when the lipophilicity would be high, and what happen? They will be able to deposit into the lipophilic compartment and increasing their aqueous solubility. When the metabolism takes place, then any molecules, any drug can be become the, you can say, aqueous soluble, or it's lose the lipophilicity. So the correct option for this is the option D, that all of the above means increasing their biological activity, increasing the deposition on you can say compartment body, and also the increasing the aqueous solubility. So these all are the correct option for the xenobiotics. So it is okay for 88 question. I think you hope you understood the questions. Next question 89. The following protein and polypeptides has a quaternary structure. So what is the meaning? So in 89 questions, what is the things that we have to find out, that which protein or polypeptide that has the quaternary structure. Option A is CC, chymotrypsin, option B is hemoglobin, option C is insulin, option D is the myoglobin. So chymotrypsin, that is you can say a enzyme that is present into the which one, intestine, trypsin and chymotrypsin. Option B is the hemoglobin that is present in our body, our blood. Option C is insulin, that is the protein, and it's a enzyme. And option D is the myoglobin that is present into our muscles. So the quaternary structure of the protein that is contained, that is, I think you understood about the things, that is the hemoglobin, because hemoglobin is a proteinous structure and it is present in our blood. So correct option would be the D. And hemoglobin, that is can say formed by heme and globulin, and heme is a 4-5 nickel ring containing the Fe+2. Yes, iron is present in the ferrous form, and Fe+2 and the 4-5 ring in between. So heme and globulin is the protein part, and both are. So this is I can say a protein, you can say proteinous part, hemoglobin, and that is present in the quaternary structure. So the correct option for 89 is the hemoglobin. I hope you got the point and got the correct option, correct answer for this. Next, moving the next questions, question number 90. 90 question is the drugs in suspensions or semi-solid solutions always degraded by. So what do you mean by this? when drugs is available into the suspension and you can say semi solid formulations, then drug can be degraded, because in the aqueous solution or suspension or semi solid suspension, drug can be degraded. It's okay. So lifetime, you can say safe time is very less, and expiry date is very low, very short. You might be, you can find in the dosage form that is available in the market. You see at your home that any pharmaceutical dosage forms like that is in the liquid form that have less or is a short expiry date as compared to tablet and capsule, because of in the liquid dosage form drug can be degraded fast. And that's why I want to say one thing more, that nowadays what happened, the syrup they are available in the dry form, dry syrup, and you have to be converted into the syrup, and it's written this powder form, and you have to put also given the liquid along with, and you have to put the liquid and by stirring and make up the volume and taken accordingly. That is nowadays that is called as a dry strip. This is only for increasing the life, you can say expiry date of the you can say syrups. So that is the immediate mixing, immediate formation, immediate dosage form can be formed by this way. So that is why. So what is our question is that which types of kinetics may involve, you know, the zero order kinetics, first order kinetics, second order kinetics, no linear kinetics. So these are the all options. Option A is the first order kinetics, option B is the second order kinetics, option C is the zero order kinetics, and option D is the non-linear kinetics. So the degradation of the drug in the suspension or solution or liquid, that is takes place into the zero order kinetics. According to zero order kinetics, it is very clear. So according to zero order kinetics, the option would be the option C, zero order kinetics, drug can be degraded. So this is the answer for 90. I think you got it, my point. Next question number 91. In the nail polish is a cosmetic preparations. So in the nail polish, what happened? In the nail polish, the following polymers is used as a film former. So which polymer you can say we can use in the film former, that we have to be find out. Option A is nitrocellulose, option B is polylactic acid, option C is hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, option D is cellulose acetate phthalate. So look at here, in the nail polish, I think you got the point, that as nitrocellulose is a nitro group containing can say cellulose which present a nitro group. So nitrocellulose, and it's a volatile substance. It's a volatile, we can say what happened, as well as it's used as a film former. So the correct option for this is, that would be the option A, nitrocellulose, that is used in the nail polish as a polymer, as a film former. So the film former is only the nitrocellulose. We are looking other options also. Polylactic acid. So polylactic acid, that is not used as a film former, because it's a lactic acid and it's not form any types of film. Option C, that is hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, and it's a excipient, and that can be used in the tablet formulation other as well. And option C is cellulose acetate phthalate, and you know this cap, and cap is used as a into the tablet form or the dosage form, that is used for sustained release dosage form, and for the sustained release dosage form, this cap can be used in anticoated tablets. I think the cap is very known polymer that is used here, and hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose is also polymer that is used. So our correct option for question number 91, nail polish, that is the nitrocellulose. Next we are moving the question 92. 92 is the rabies can say vaccine, live vaccine is prepared using. So rabies vaccine can be prepared by using, option A is sheep blood, Sheep, sheep or sheep blood. Option B is mice or mice lymph. Option C is horse, horse plasma. Option D is fertile egg. So you know that in rabies vaccine we cannot use any types of animal, neither sheep, mice, or neither horse. We can use we have to use egg. So fertile egg we can use in the preparation of rabies vaccine. So correct option would be the D. I think you understood that point. So fertile egg we required for the uh, preparations of rabies vaccine or live vaccine. Option number, so that is clear for 92 questions that rabies vaccine live, that is produced or prepared by using the fertile eggs. Next question number 93. 93 is a drug, the 200 milligram dose administered in tablet form and as a intravenous dose injections 50 milligram dose showed AUG, area under curve, that is AUG, not AUG, this should be AUC, it's mistake, AUC, area under curve. So area under curve, there is 100 for that in tablet dosage form, 100 microgram per hour per ml and 200 microgram per hour per ml for IV injection respectively. The absolute availability of the drug through the oral absorptions, means in the tablet form, because what do you mean by these questions? This question is that any drug, one drug is given tablet form and same drug is given by the injection form, and the area under curve for these drug, both route of administration is 100 microgram per microgram R per ml for tablet and 200 microgram per R per ml for IV injection. So according to that, we have to find out the bioavailability of oral route. So what is the percentage of the bioavailability of the oral route, we can say, or availability of the drug through the oral route, means it means absolute availability means bioavailability we have to find out. So how much the bioavailability, how much percentage of the drug will available into the, you can say, blood through the oral administration. So look at here that as compared to 200 milligram dosage form in the tablet form and 500 milligram and you know when the drug is given IV injection intravenous, then 100% bioavailability would be there, 100% bioavailability. So if it's 100% bioavailability, then the area under curve, that is 200 microgram per hour per ml, it means 50% then tablet form. So the 50% over here, and we are giving the 4 times more, that is dosage form also, 200 in tablet and 50 milligram here. So 4 times this and 1 time this, so you can say 8 times. I think you are point appointment 8 times. So if we are thinking that the IV having the 100%, then we can say oral will have the 8 times less than IV. So oral availability would be, bioavailability would be having the 8 times less than the, or there is, you can say 8 times less than IV. So what do you mean by this? That 50 milligram here, IV we are using 50 milligram IV, and look at here, oral we are using 200 milligram orally. So it's a 4 times more. Oral we are taking 4 times more quantity, and area under curve is one half time less, you can say, in oral, and this, so you can say we can divide in, so 8 times more we are giving dosage form in the oral form as compared to the IV. So the availability is the bioavailability is the 8 times less, so 100 by 8, so the correct option would be the 12.5% for availability for the oral dosage form. You can write down, you can check it out by using your pen and pencil. This is important one, and because we are giving one drug in the oral form, and there is 4 times more, and IV form same drug in the 4 times less. But AUC is area under curve in is half, one you can say half when given orally as compared to the IV. So bioavailability is 50% for oral dosage forms as compared to the this one. So bioavailability is 50%, and dose we are giving 4 times more. So what do you mean by this? So availability of the drug will be less than 8 times less than orally than in case of IV. So 100 divided by 8, so 12 and a half would be the correct answer for this. I hope you understood the point. Now we are discussing the next questions. Next question is question number 94. Geriatric population should be included in the following phase of clinical trial. Geriatric population means old age populations, old age you can say personals. When we can use in clinical trials, which phase? Clinical trial, there are the 4 phases of the clinical trials. Clinical trial phase 1, option A. Clinical trial phase 2, option B. Clinical trial phase 3, option C. And option D is the clinical trial 4 phase. The 4 phases of clinical trials. So I think you understood in different phases. So clinical trial phase 1, what happened? That healthy young volunteer is used in clinical trial phase 1. Is it clear? Phase 2, the healthy patients, healthy volunteer is taken, but maybe the health, you can say, taking the young persons, giardic persons, and you can say different ages of the persons, you can say child, age, and giardic in phase 2. So the correct option will be for this is the option B, that giardic populations can be used in option phase 2 only. And in clinical trial phase 3, that patients or disease occurred patient, you can say patients, you can say we can use as a clinical trial phase 3. And phase 4, drug when coming to the market, then clinical trial phase 4 will start. So the correct option would be the option number 2. In option number 2 can use the giardic patient can be used in option number clinical trial phase 2. This is okay? I think it is clear. Now we are discussing next question number 95. 95 is the class 100 area is referred to. So class 100 area, what do you mean by the class 100 area? That is important things. Class 100 area, I think you remember what is the meaning? That class 100 area, option A is manufacturing area, option B is aseptic area, option C is the clean area, option C is the warehouse area. So if you remember, if you learn about that class 100 area is directly related with the aseptic area. Aseptic conditions in the microbiology is directly completed, and class 100 area, it means aseptic area. In manufacturing area, where it is written class 100 area, it means it is accepted area. So class 100 area, it means accepted area. So correct option is the B for the 95. Now the question 96. 96 is how many ml of A 1:500 weight by volume stock solution should be used to make 5 liters of 1:200 weight by volume solution. So what do you mean by this? It means that how much solution we have to take in from stock solution for preparation of 5 liter of 1:200 2000 weight by volume solution. So what do you mean this? Which we have to take stock solution and we have to dilute it into the 4 times. 4 times we have to be diluted it. 4 times we have to be diluted it. Sorry. So what do you mean is that we have to be diluted the 4 times we have to be diluted it from the stock solutions, because it is a 500 weight by volume and this is the 2000 water volume weight by volume. So 4 times we have to dilute it. 1 point. Another, that we have to make the 5 liter. Okay. So how much quantity of solution we have to taken? There is, as you know, 4 times we have to be diluted, means 4 liter 500 ml 5000 ml divided by 4, because 4 times we have to dilate it down. So the correct option would be there, because 4 times we have dilated. So quantity is 500 ml, 5000 ml divided by 4. So that is correct option would be the 1250 ml, 2500. So correct option would be the C, because 1250 ml of stock solution we have to taken it, and we have to dilute it up to the 5000 ml, or you can say 5 liter. Then our the concentration of solution would be the 1:2000 volume by weight by volume, as compared to the stock solution, that is concentration of stock solution is 1:5000 weight by volume. So 4 times we have diluted it by adding the solvent. So that is the correct option for question number 96. Next question 87. Question number 87 is question number 97 is 97. Question number 97 is the volume of distribution of a drug administered in dose of 300 milligram and exhibit 30 microgram per liter. Instantly concentration of the plasma should be. So what do you mean by that? We are taking here 300 milligram quantity of the drug, and that concentrations of drug is the 300 microgram per ml. So 300 milligram, that we can convert into microgram, that is 300 into 10 to the power 3 microgram divided by 30. Okay, so that is 10 into 10 to the power 3 ml, or in the liter this would be the 10 liter. So correct option would be the A for this, because we have to divide into the this quantity and this. We have divided 300 milligram, that convert into the microgram, and divide into the 30 microgram per ml, and it concentration will come into ml, so we have to convert into the liter. So I think you got all the point. Correct option would be the, or this would be, you can say option number A, that is 10 liter. Option A, 10 liter for the 97. Next we are discussing the question number 98. 98 question is, it is required to maintain a therapeutic concentration of 10 microgram per ml for 12 hours of a drug. Half life is 1.38486 hours, and volume of distribution VD is 5 liter. So dose required into the sustained release dosage form will be. So what dose we have to given this condition? What is the question we ask? Question is asking about the therapeutic concentration is 10 microgram per ml, that is, and 10 microgram per ml for 12 hours. We have to maintain for the 12 hours, and half life is for this is 1.386 hours. So divide it, when we are dividing this quantity, then we have to take near about 6 or near about 8 half life, near about 8 half life we are using here. 8 half life we can say, we can use here. 8 half life we required. Okay, volume distribution is the 5 liter. Okay, so we have to take the drug that much, that when we are dividing it 8 T half life, the drug concentrations reach into 10 microgram per liter. So when you are calculating this, then it will be the can say dose quantity will be goes the option B, 300 milligram, because 300 milligram drug we are giving. Then when divided into 8 times we are dividing, then you can say 150 half, then 8, and it will be reach to the 10 microgram per ml for 12 hours. So the correct option would this. So this is the mathematical equation. Students, you have to check it out by using your copy and pen. You try to calculate it by the half life accordingly. So that is all. I hope it is you can understood about this point, that how we have to give the answer in this. So the correct option, that was the B, 300 milligram. You calculate your own and you can check it out. Now the question number 99. Which one of the following is not an ex officio member of the PCI, Pharmacy Council of India? Option A is the Director General of Health. Option B is the Director of Central Drug Laboratory. Option C is the Director General of India, Drug Controller General of India. And option D is the Director of the Pharmacopoeia Laboratory. So Pharmacopoeia Laboratory, that is present in the Ghaziabad. This Ghaziabad, it is not included here in the PCI. So correct option would be the B. And Director Health General, that is used, and CDL, Director General, also used, and the Controller of India is also we can say ex officio member of the PCI. So the correct option would be the D, Director of Pharmacopoeia Laboratory or Pharmacopoeia Commission, is not the part of PCI at all. So this is the correct. I think you were toward the point. Next, question number 10. In which of the following technique the sample is kept below triple point? Below triple point, in ice, what you can say below triple point, you can say ice that can be get on the freeze. On this triple point, you might be gone through and triple about the triple point. And so in which of the technique the triple point is used? That is, one is the option is the lyophilization, B is the spray drying, C is the spray congenial, and D is the centrifugation. So the lyophilization, option A is the correct option. The lyophilization is a technique in which what happen, drug you can say any substance is can use by the triple point method, and by the lyophilizations it is you can say this technique that is used here only, and the triple point sample is kept into the below the triple point, and the drug you can say sample can be lyophilized. So I hope you got the point and you understood the all 20 questions we are discussing very elaborately way. Anything you have doubt, you can leave me the message on my YouTube channel, and if it is okay, then please like it and share it, and can say understood. My point is only to discuss the GPAT question paper, that you all students, they get better informations about the pharmacy, and you do the better in the in terms of the knowledge of the GPAT, and doing the best in level of the GPAT. So I have covered here the 10 questions, all 100 questions for the GPAT 2010 question paper, and our discussion will be continue in coming classes, the current video. So this is thank you for today. Thank you very much.